Alright people, there it is, in the shop at Euro Car, Colorado Springs, and this is Craig.
Hey guys!
From the Unplugged team. Now what happened this morning?
So this morning we figured we'd had a 10% chance of getting this thing running again. So Eddie and I went over there saying what we wanted to do was get it rolling again to get it to this location, which is Euro Car. So that was really tough to do. We had to tear apart all of the suspension, get it out and get some temporary suspension in there. And we made that happen and we got the car rolling again. We got it in there, we got a quad to pull as a tow hitch to get it in there, and we just barely got it in there. One of the front left wheel is just completely destroyed, so it doesn't work when we use steering input. We got it there in the trailer, we got it back out, we got it here.
Randy, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for your efforts, man.
Always.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
This is exciting.
It's really good.
You're about to witness a miracle here. This is what you're going to witness. I'm going to have the rear subframe with the driving it everything out.
Yeah.
Front subframe driving it everything out in battery pack in the next hour and a half. I'll have all of it out.
Battery pack and all.
Wow.
We're basically building a new car.
Now, Randy, I'm trying to get a track for you because I want you to drive this car.
Oh, okay.
I want you to drive it Saturday.
Better light. For Pikes Peak International Raceway, maybe, PPIR.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get a track for you to drive this car on before we put it actually up the mountain. Because naturally stuff is going to be different. We're switching from our 3-way coilovers down to the 2-ways.
Okay.
So I won't have as much adjustability, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay. But hopefully I can dial it in for you to where you're happy with it and you're comfortable with the car, because that's the most important thing. Is obviously if something goes wrong, it's not going to go wrong up there. I'd rather you feel it out, see if anything's off or anything weird. But if all goes well, I'm going to have this car perfect for you by Saturday.
You know about Pikes Peak Raceway?
Yes.
Right, Bob Boylell runs that.
Yes.
And his son Tommy was in the Camaro. They wrecked yesterday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
The power steering quit, sprayed all over the left front tire.
It just slid it, yeah. Is he okay though?
He's okay.
Okay.
Car's all messed up.
They're not going to run?
No,
okay.
So that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I bet Bob would let us do some laps up there.
Okay.
And if not, there's one in Pueblo, which is only another hour.
That's the one that I was also thinking about.
That's a nice road course.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
But PPIR would be enough to make sure the car's
exactly.
good.
So it feels. That's all I want. I just want you to drive it and be okay with the way that it feels. And obviously, I'm going to do my best for everything suspension related, chassis related, that it's straight enough to where I can align it perfectly back for you and hopefully get it to feel rock solid again.
It went from 10% chance to 1%, we thought.
Yeah, when I pulled this car apart.
Wow, now we're at like 80%.
Yeah. So when you saw that car on that lift, I went in this morning. We started breaking it down, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, we're diminishing here. And at the end of it, it came to a conclusion where I was certain we were going to need a whole new car, but we have a whole new car now.
We almost went that route.
Yeah.
We even thought about buying a brand new car, taking the whole roll cage out.
We were going to plasma cut this cage out, put it in the other one.
Love it.
Hey, we're dedicated. This is going to happen. We're dedicated. Ready to go.
You're
crazy.
crazy.
This car to go up now, and I'll have the rear drive unit subframe out, and I'll have the front out, and then we're going to do the battery last.
Can we meet some of the guys from Eurocar?
Yeah.
Who's the boss?
Well, let's see.
I have seriously known your name since I was like 10 years old. Man. That is so cool.
Oh, thank you for your help. I'm recording. I'm going to make you part of my channel.
That's fine with me.
So
yeah, I sure appreciate you covering for me.
No problem, man.
And
it's all
because the
part
day
of the game.
before, it was the best car I ever drove in my life.
Wow.
It was amazing.
It's all part of the game.
We're something like 7th overall.
Yeah.
Out of 55 cars.
55, I think, yeah.
And probably the heaviest
With a
car,
Tesla.
too.
Yeah.
It was like the heaviest car.
Yeah. I mean, it was that good.
Well, it's about to be back and running. We're going to have,
Dude.
if we could have this car in the air, Eddie and I would already have the subframes out, and I'd be working on the battery right now. But once we get the subframes out of the way, it'll literally take us 30 minutes to drop the battery. Like the two of us, it'll take us 30 minutes or less to take the battery out.
How much is one of those weigh?
Over 1,000 pounds, like
They're heavy.
Yeah.
They're heavy.
And if you were to be able to touch the power coming out of the two leads from the battery, it would melt your whole body. Like you'll die from exposure to 0.3 amps and those batteries will give you anywhere from 40 to 70 free amps.
Yeah.
So like
Oh,
you would be.
Well, I feel that when I leave the line. That car just disappears like crazy.
Yeah.
So who are these guys on the car?
This is Brian here.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for your efforts. I'm going to post something how to direct it.
Oh, okay.
And I appreciate your efforts to
Yeah,
help
no
get us
problem.
back in this race.
Well, we're trying to do what we can here.
What
Right
are you
now,
on there?
so right now I have the penthouse fully open and exposed. We're swapping out the pyrotechnic fuse because that's usually what blows whenever you get into a wreck. That's why
Hey.
your car powers on and then turns off after about 45 seconds or so.
Oh.
So right now this is a protective cover right now, but we're swapping out a fuse inside of there. I'm about ready to torque it to spec, and hopefully we'll power it back on and get some diagnostic going.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hey, I'm Randy Pobst.
Justin, nice to meet
Justin,
you.
nice to meet you.
You got
Thanks
the finest
for-
techs at your exposure here, so
Thank you.
Brian's an awesome tech. So
Excellent. Excellent. Brian and Chris, and appreciate you opening up the shop and going to
Absolutely.
this effort. It's unbelievable.
absolutely.
Fantastic.
No, we're sports enthusiasts ourselves, and we usually have one of our cars here. So it's nice this year that it wasn't one
Like
of
what?
ours.
Like Porsches? Or-
Right. So the GT4 Club Sport class we sponsor.
Yes.
Support. So
Yeah.
we've had a couple of offs in the last couple of years. We've had to do the same
I
thing.
remember
so,
Pastrana.
right.
He fixed his car.
Right.
Did skiing go off in practice? Mike skiing?
It was Mike skiing. We did his car 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Had that back up and running the next day.
Yeah.
That was a full strut tower that blew out.
Dude, you're amazing.
So I know these guys are really talented guys that are going to be able to get it done for you.
One of the guys who's in charge of all of the Tesla mobile techs is texting me right now. He wants to know if we have a benefit to having a field service engineer and a technical systems engineer who we can get here tomorrow morning. So
I mean, it'd only stand to help.
yeah, so if we benefit from that, I think we should go ahead and do it. Yeah. Okay.
That
So
can help some of our wiring problems
Yeah.
potentially that we were trying to solve.
Yeah, so
I
that-
mean, you do got a bunch of shredded stuff. So
Dude, it's all over.
that's crazy
You know,
that Tesla's willing to send us some engineers to help us out here.
we got some main body.
Actually, the front fenders, it's crazy. They just flex. There's nothing wrong with them at all. Our carbon fenders, they're coming back. The rear bumper has got most of the damage. And our wing that we used to have on here.
Yes.
What our plan is, because we have another setup that these L brackets, they hold on the wing. So we no longer have this setup. So we're gonna pull this off. This is like an efficiency diffuser. So we're just gonna run the wing. That's what's really important, that we get on the track and make sure that that is set up for you.
Yeah.
The front bumper took a lot of damage, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
We had
First
a really
arrive on the
good
scene.
downforce system
Oh, yeah,
for the
the splitter.
front bumper, all custom.
Yeah.
So that got destroyed. We may have to run just the OEM bumper and just throw on a lip that we have from
Yes.
Unplugged.
Yeah.
At least we'll have that as a splitter and give us a little bit of downforce.
Yeah.
Better than nothing. So,
We'll take it. Much better move than we had this morning.
yep.
Thanks to you guys at Eurocars.
Happy to
And
be
our
here.
team.
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
You want to walk with me?
Yeah, where we
I
going?
want to show you something. But I wanted to show you some of the parts that I pulled off the car this morning. So I swapped in some new parts, and I thought you'd be interested in seeing some of the carnage.
Oh.
So, three-way race coilover. As you can see, us turned into a banana.
Oh my gosh.
There's that bump stop I was talking about. Now you can see a progressive bump stop.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
Yep. So there's a progressive bump stop,
Nice.
and
Nice.
these guys are kind of stuck up here. But there's some other rubber ones up here too that help soften an impact whenever you bottom out.
Ah, and that's what your setup guy did on
Yep.
the shocks.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Ah, so that. Yeah.
And then thought this was kind of funny. So there's that bottom of that shock. So we actually blew open the back end of it.
Wow.
So
Your
that
valving
impact.
is up there in bottomless pit somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
What's this? Oh, I see it.
So this is actually interesting too. So you see what it says right there? Right rear caliper. So this is the back end of that caliper. So Tesla, this is the e-brake, essentially.
Oh,
So the e-brakes on both sides snapped all the way off.
wow.
So the back end of that caliper broke off. But I just thought you might want to see some of the how bent these arms were. So these actually were dragging across the ground. You can see where they dragged. Both of them were bent like that. So these are OEM parts. And then shocks, obviously from us, pretty mangled. Obviously because the lower control arm wanted to leave the shock, and it did.
Yes.
Just from the force of that impact.
It was big.
Yeah.
Especially the left side.
Yeah, so this is from the left side.
Lost the spring and the perch.
Yeah, I don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
There might be somewhere around. These are from the right side, so these are the ones that stayed in the car.
Wow. I saw a spring on the ground.
Yeah, we picked that up.
Oh, you
It's
got
just
it?
somewhere
Okay.
else. I don't know where he is
I never
right now.
saw this.
This we also recovered. So this guy was
Oh.
pretty mangled up top because he left the car too, obviously.
Yes.
So the shock is actually, it's not okay, but the bottom of the shock never broke off, which is impressive. So what happened was it took so much force, and when it bent, it just completely threw the whole shock. You know, this one fully collapsed,
Oh.
and then this one turned into a banana. So either way, they're messed up on the inside, but they survived.
Yeah, I had asked about the bump stops, and this is a really good design because it keeps the car from reacting harshly when you hit a big bump. That's the whole idea of that. That looks really good to me. Looks really good.
A lot of engineering actually in these bump stops, so a lot of people don't really think about these.
Yeah.
But these are progressive.
Yes.
So they're softer at the top, and as they come down, they actually get harder throughout to soften that, so it's not as aggressive. Because some bump stops, it's like hitting a wall. Might as well not even have a bump stop.
Or if it's soft enough to compress with your hands, it's like not having one.
Exactly, and it'll
The
probably
car's
just rip
loaded,
apart.
just-
It'll just blow it apart.
Just crunch it.
Yep.
In the old days, I used to use bump stops for my springs on my VW Rabbit race cars. I was too cheap to buy springs, so I would just double up the bump stops and ride on the bump stops.
That's a legitimate thing that did happen for a long
I
time.
think there's a lot of that in Spec Miata, or there
Exactly.
was.
It was.
with the old
I definitely
shocks.
remember it. Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Yeah. You had a choice. You could lower the car, but if you did, you'd be on the bump stops all the time. Every bump stop's different. Different
Might as well
choices.
just not have a spring at all at that point. Just ride on progressively tuned bump stops. Call that bump stop tuning. It is a legitimate thing that a lot of people don't really know too much about. But people do tune bump stops to handle the shock load.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. On the good teams.
Exactly.
What's really important to state here is that there's nothing strange about driving a Tesla. It drives like a normal car. It's just quiet. And it has huge torque. It has one gear. And any good automatic, you're not doing anything but holding the steering wheel anyway. In a Porsche PDK, it shifts so well. It's really kind of similar to driving an electric car with one gear because the transmission is constantly shifting and keeping you in the power curve. Well, in an electric car, the power curve is everywhere all the time. And there's nothing strange about driving an electric car on track. For me, I like the torque. And it's quiet. I can hear the crew on the radio. Unplugged performance special parts. Survived the crash. You know, this is so exciting. We'll get back in this. There's our version of plaid. What am I looking at there?
So that's the top part of your high voltage battery. So that's all the go juice you got there.
Wow.
That's just kind of the inner workings. That's the serviceable part of the battery for us.
Okay, and the battery's all in the floor, right?
Yep, it's on the underside all the way from the driver's seat all the way back to the rear.
That's the speed secret. Keeps that center of gravity low.
Keeps it low.
Well, I'm not a big fan of trucks unless I'm towing a trailer. I love to tow trailers. You want a low center of gravity. And believe it or not, people, that's the battery. The whole floor there is a monster battery that makes the Teslas so fast and makes them go so far on a charge. 300 miles plus. We've already got new spring perches back here. Got new shocks back here. That was all destroyed in the crash. That's Unplugged performance stuff. Control arms. That upper looks like Unplugged performance for adjusting camber and toe on that arm. I'm excited.
Driven one of our cars on the stock front upper control arms.
Oh.
So
No, but I've driven Teslas.
You've driven Teslas
Driven a
at
Model
all?
3.
In general?
Yeah, remember I helped consult on
That's
the
right,
first
that's
track
right.
mode.
What did you
And
think
I
about
drove
the
one
steering
before
on
that?
that?
That was so terrible on track.
The
that
Model S.
Tesla decided, no, the Model 3 without track mode.
Oh, that's right.
The first one.
It had so much limitation on it.
Oh,
The
was a
nannies on it
mess
were insane.
track. Yeah, the brakes were not happy.
I remember
They
that car
improved
would
that car so much with the track mode
Yeah.
version.
I remember driving one of them before track mode on track, and I remember trying my hardest to get around this turn, right? But as soon as the car felt that rear slippage, it sounded like it would fire the ABS motors in the rear
It did.
to try and bring in that rear end.
Yep.
And it's like, no, let me. And then it cuts power, and then
Yep.
you know you're one of the slowest people out there,
That
basically
was-
because of the nannies.
That was going to be one of my biggest questions with that LSD. Can you spin tires? Does it let you spin tires, or does
It doesn't
still
let you
say
spin
no?
tires, but what it does essentially is it lets. Obviously now it's limited slip, right? So essentially both wheels are fighting. So what it's stopping is it's stopping Tesla from essentially limiting how much one tire moves over the other. Literally locking them both in at the same time.
Right.
So it reduces that nanny from kicking in. It'll still kick in if you get it sideways enough, but it essentially extends that period that you have to a much higher threshold. You're getting a lot more mechanical grip out of the rear end out of this car with that LSD in it, which limits that nanny as much as possible. But the nanny still exists. We're just trying to limit how much it can come in. So more mechanical grip, the harder this car grips, the less that nanny's going to interfere.
Yeah,
So I think we've done a pretty good job. I think the car, for what it is, grips extremely well.
it does. It
Yeah.
does.
The mechanical grip on it is amazing.
The
to the
wide
point,
body, the big
yeah.
wheels,
Everything all
shock
together.
and spring setup.
To the
It
point where we
works.
had to do the front sway bar back to stock. Because
Oh,
that
yes.
stiff of a sway bar, going stiffer isn't always better, right? We got to the point where we were lifting one wheel on the inside going
Yeah.
through those turns.
Chris, the problem we had was it was wanting to spin an inside tire a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And the limited slip in the back keeps it from spinning one rear. But now
the
once you
front.
spin one front,
Yeah.
when that happens, it starts applying the brake
Yep.
to limit the spin. And if we could turn that off completely, I would prefer to do it.
I want to try and do,
But it's still fast.
yeah.
I believe it. I believe it.
In the future, I want to do a limited slip in the front possibly.
That would be
And
ideal.
I also want to look into going maybe another 4K on the spring, so running 24K up front and completely eliminating the front sway bar. Seeing if that gives us the stiffness that we need
Without
while
the
letting them
limited
be
slip.
independent. Yeah. So we're not lifting at all now when we're taking one of those tight turns. Yeah. I can
Ryan
split
really
that.
wants to see the inside of the battery.
I can split that drive unit in under 2 hours probably.
Really?
Yeah. You just work
That's the
your way
big
up.
news, people, here. This Tesla, the Unplugged Performance Tesla is coming back. We got Eurocar behind it. We got experienced Tesla techs working on it. We got parts coming. It looks really good for getting back on the mountain right now. A second chance. A miracle.